This is an excerpt from the Wait Are These Guys Friends podcast. I guess first I'll just ask, did you enjoy the movie?
I did. It gave me, it was a different place to explore that I think we hadn't yet. It was characters we knew, but introducing a few concepts that we weren't sure about. Julia Louis-Dreyfus's character, forgive me, Valentina.
Yeah, definitely.
And we haven't really maneuvered with her that much, right? So it was nice to have her sort of at the forefront of the tweener kind of, right? The bad guy, but still working within the government. And I think that's a good role.
She's a full bad guy. You call her a tweener. She is a full bad guy. I don't know
I don't know where you're getting
tweener.
So like, yeah.
Yeah, because she's lying. There's no tweener there. She's lying to look like a good person. She is a bad person. Now I know where you stand. You just trust the government and all things. So like, they said it was good. That's Randy's take.
There we go. Yes. Hooray. Look at my new Avengers. But
this is our new pro-tariff podcast. Anyway, moving on. Sorry. What are you saying? Boy. Yeah, sorry. Not the right topic. Okay.
But to have that established kind of the force behind the evil or the not good, something that the others need to come together to fight towards. And I think that's the other part of it, is that these are not traditional good guys that have to come together. That's why Guardians work too. Different than Guardians. I didn't think it was as funny as Guardians, but still same kind of idea. A bunch of ragtag people that are used to being things used outside the rules, outside the law, but they come together and they're working together because they have one kind of common thing they're pushing towards. And they realize they kind of need each other and I think that was the most interesting thing that Thunderbolts dove into, is that the biggest part of this is their own mental capacities, right? Like that's the biggest thing that the Sentry had to fight, or Bob had to overcome, and together they all had to do that together. Elena finds out it's like her own loneliness that is the biggest thing that she needs to battle, as opposed to any task or any adversary.
Right. So my question for you, I have two things I want to get into. Mm-hmm. Do you want, and I can go either direction. Do you want first my take on the actual film as a film, or do you want my take about the film as how it relates to the MCU?
So let's go film first, and then we can go into the MCU.
I really enjoyed the film as a film. Mm-hmm. I really liked the characters because maybe it's because it's been a hot minute. They felt like they had more depth than a Marvel movie's had in a long time. Mm-hmm. And this is all coming from this. This is really fascinating because it's mostly B-movie and TV show characters, right? These are not, and they don't, I think a lot of people, including myself, had said this felt like it was going to be Marvel Suicide Squad, and I still kind of buy into that, even though they've tried to downplay that comparison. But I liked it. I thought it was well-paced. I thought the last act was a really, really well-done last act because there was action, but it really came down to the emotional stakes and talking more than... You could say that for like Falcon and the Winter Soldier or even Brave New World, but that talking felt so heavy-handed. Like I think of Falcon and the Winter Soldier, where Sam does his first scene as Cap, and he just looks at them and he's like, be better. I was like, that feels a little on the nose, guys. That's, this is a real exploration of trauma and pain. And, again, is it the deepest exploration of that in the world? No, but for a Marvel movie, I was like, yeah, I'm in on this. I really connect to this. This is great.
I also liked, and obviously it was CGI enhanced, the final scene when they're fighting through all the rooms and everything. Mm-hmm. But it wasn't our traditional big honkin' set piece, giant fight, blow up buildings one, right? I mean rooms, but it wasn't battlefieldy. It was nice to have something that was a little bit different from a visual standpoint that they were fighting.
That's what I like about it, is it actually does it in reverse. Is I don't feel like it builds to the big fight. It starts with the big fight and actually gets smaller to the point where it's all them in an attic. And I'm like, this is, maybe it's just because of the inversion of the formula. It makes it feel fresh, but it's also, I think, the connection you have to the characters, as we both said.
Also, performance is all pretty good from the people we knew. That's Bill Pullman's son, right?
Yes, I didn't
Yeah,
realize
okay.
that, but the name Lewis Pullman sure does give
Once
it
I
away
saw
when
it,
you
I'm like,
say it.
yeah, boy, it sure does look like him. So, but I thought, boy, he was really good at
He was
this kind
great.
of conflicted, like just acting without everything in his face. You could just see it. It was really, really good. Good casting choice there.
Which is crazy because he's actually the second choice. Stephen
Oh, really?
Young
Okay.
from Walking Dead was the original
Mm,
choice. And I just they nailed it with this so hard. It's hard to imagine what that would have been. Like this was perfect.
yeah, that would have been good, but this was this. I'm glad they went with this route. I think this
Yeah,
was
yeah. It was
excellent.
great.
Yeah.
It was very well done. So, do you want to talk a little overall MCU, arcing, Marvel, et cetera here? So, we've already hit some plot stuff. I don't feel like we hit too bad of spoilers on the movie.
Yep.
I will say, here's your big spoiler warning
Yep.
for this right now. Time codes below. The big, that said, it's already been ruined. They couldn't wait a week. I don't know if
Yeah.
you've seen the marketing.
Yeah.
At the end of the movie, Thunderbolts asterisk turns out to reveal that it really meant the new Avengers
Yep.
because Allegra, Julie Louis-Dreyfus, tricks them when they're just about to arrest her into being introduced as the new Avengers. And, you know, they kind of hold it over her and blah, blah, blah. But, like, that first off, the fact they couldn't wait more than a weekend. All those you see all those posters in LA being replaced with new Avengers and billboards
Yeah.
saying new Avengers. I guess they want to make sure people know before next year. They need to hammer that home
Sure.
because in the mid-credit sequence, you can see it's a pretty big plot point that they're the new Avengers and Sam Wilson's going to have the original Avengers or traditional. Although right now I think it's just him and not Falcon from the end of
Right.
Brave New World. So get your team together, bro. Who are you gonna have? That leads into you saw the Fantastic Four in there.
Yep.
I'm gonna set all that aside. While I enjoyed this movie, both this and Captain America needed to come out 2 years ago.
Mm.
This movie needed to come out within 2 years of all those fucking TV shows that they're referencing, with all those TV shows with those characters. I liked this movie, but the impact it would have had and the way that it would have, I think it would have, people felt like this last phase was really treading water, right? Like there
Yep.
wasn't anything happening. Like, what are we doing? If you had put this in the middle of that phase, halfway through this process, I think people would have had a different opinion of the phase. Like, oh, I can see what they're building to. Something's coming. I'm feeling this coming together because you've brought all these things we've been watching together. Instead, think about Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and your first appearance, I think, of Allegra de Fontaine came out in 2021. And she's had like 2 appearances since then. You needed this out years ago to
Yeah.
really have the impact it should have had. But that's my big take on this. I liked the movie. You took too fucking long to get this shit together.
I wonder though if this is going to start to become rolling downhill, right? Like because Fantastic Four coming, like just as they're all coming quicker, you know. So maybe yes, it
Oh,
took a
yeah.
while to get there, but now we're going to get inundated with
If
it, right?
if
It's going to
you
be a very comprehensive hit now, where we'll get as much as we need. Now, if they'd spaced it out better, I agree, but
you would
I
have
think
helped your
it's
phasing and your reaction. I'm looking at the real world aspect of the negative reaction to the last couple of years of the MCU. You could have staved some of that off, I think. The last little bit I'll say of that is I do like that they're leading into Fantastic Four and they're leading into Doomsday, which will lead into Secret Wars. You know why I should probably not worry about any of this? Because I'm telling you right now, Secret Wars is going to blow it all up, and in 2028, we're starting fresh. None of this is going to matter in 3 years. We're going to love it. It's going to be a nostalgic phase of the MCU. You can watch top to bottom from when they started it to when they rebooted it. I'm calling it right now. 2028 is a clean slate. They may have a couple actors transition to help ease that harsh start over. But as far as the continuity goes, there's going to be a new Iron Man. There's going to be a new Captain America.
Oh.
I'm fucking putting my fucking flag in the sand on this right now.
I will say I was heartened to leave Thunderbolts, with a little bit of anticipation and excitement for things that are coming, which has not been there in probably the last 4 to 5 Marvel movies.
Literally what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That would have happened if you'd put this 2 years ago. You would have thought
but
about this.
I'm still glad to have it, that being said. So it's just, it would have been nicer to have it earlier. Agreed.
Exactly.
Space out the anticipation a little bit more so it doesn't feel like garden hose, which